The message arrived at midnight. 3 words glowed on the screen. Target, Sarah-chan. Payment, 5 million credits. Kale stared at the screen in his dark spaceship. He was known across the galaxy as the Shadow of Andromeda. For 15 years, he had never failed a single contract. 500 targets. 500 successful eliminations. 0 failures. But tonight something felt different. Something felt wrong. Kale opened a file on his holographic screen. Sarah-chan, 23 years old. Human, lives on Earth. Works at a small coffee shop called Morning Brew Cafe. No criminal record. No enemies. No debts. No connection to any gang or crime family. She was just a normal girl, living a normal life. So, why did someone want her dead? Why was the payment so huge? 5 million credits could buy a small planet. This made no sense. Kale leaned back in his chair. His red alien eyes glowed in the darkness. His species was destroyed 20 years ago in a galactic war. He was the only survivor, a child left alone in the burning ruins of his homeworld. He learned to survive by becoming what everyone feared. A killer, a ghost, a shadow. Killing became his only skill, his only purpose, his only reason to exist. He pressed the accept button. The contract was now active. He had 72 hours to complete the mission. Kale set the coordinates for Earth. His ship jumped into hyperspace. Blue and white lights streaked past his window. In 6 hours, he would arrive. In 7 hours, Sarah-chan would be dead. That was the plan. Kale landed his ship in the forest outside the city. He wore a black hood to hide his alien features. He walked through the crowded streets. Humans everywhere, laughing, talking, living their simple lives. He found the coffee shop, Morning Brew Cafe. Small, warm, friendly. He stood across the street in the shadows, watching, waiting. Then he saw her. Sarah-chan, long brown hair, bright smile. She was serving coffee to an old man. The old man said something funny. Sarah laughed, a real laugh, full of joy, full of life. She handed him his coffee and patted his shoulder. The old man smiled and walked away. Sarah turned toward the window. Her eyes met Kale's eyes. And then she smiled. She smiled directly at him. Kale's hand moved his plasma gun. His fingers wrapped around the cold metal. He aimed through the window. His finger touched the trigger. Sarah was still smiling, still looking at him. 1 pull, 1 second. Mission complete. But Kale could not move. His finger froze on the trigger. For the first time in 15 years, he hesitated. Why? What was happening to him? His heart was beating fast. His hands were shaking. This had never happened before. He lowered his weapon. Something was very wrong with this contract. He needed to know the truth. He needed to know why someone wanted this innocent girl dead. Kale stepped back into the shadows. The hunt had begun. But now he was hunting for answers, not for death. Kale could not sleep that night. He sat in his ship staring at Sarah's file, her smiling face on the screen. Why did she smile at him? Why did that smile stop him from killing her? In 15 years, no target had ever made him hesitate. Not once. But this girl, this simple human girl, she broke something inside him, something he thought was already dead. The next morning, Kale returned to the coffee shop. But this time, he did not hide in the shadows. He walked inside. The shop smelled like fresh coffee and warm bread. Soft music played in the background. Sarah stood behind the counter. She looked up and smiled again. That same bright smile. "Good morning. What can I get you?" she asked. Kale's voice was cold. "Black coffee." Sarah poured the coffee and handed it to him. "You look sad." "Coffee always helps when I'm sad." Kale stared at her. No one had ever said that to him. No one had ever cared if he was sad. He took the coffee and sat in the corner. He watched her work. She talked to every customer like they were old friends. She helped an old woman carry her groceries. She gave free cookies to children. She was kind, truly kind. This was rare in the galaxy. Hours passed. Kale followed her home. She lived in a small apartment on the 5th floor. She fed a stray cat on the street. She helped her elderly neighbor carry boxes upstairs. Cale watched from the rooftop across the street, his sniper rifle ready. The perfect shot. Clean. Simple. But his hands would not obey. His finger would not pull the trigger. "What is wrong with me?" he whispered to himself. Night fell. Sarah sat by her window, reading a book. The light from her lamp made her face glow. She looked peaceful, happy, alone but not lonely. Cale aimed his rifle at her head. This was his job. This was what he did. This was who he was. He took a deep breath. His finger moved the trigger. Suddenly a red laser appeared on Sarah's forehead, but it was not from his rifle. Cale's eyes went wide. He turned his head. On the opposite rooftop stood another assassin, a tall figure in black armor. The figure's rifle was aimed at Sarah. Another killer. Another contract. Someone else had been hired to kill her too. The other assassin's finger squeezed the trigger. The shot fired. Time seemed to slow down. The bullet flew through the air towards Sarah's head. She did not see it. She did not know. She just kept reading her book. Cale had half a second to decide. Complete his mission and let her die, or save the girl and become a traitor to everything he was. His instinct took over. He fired his rifle. His bullet hit the other assassin's bullet in midair. Both bullets exploded in a shower of sparks. The other assassin turned toward Cale. Their eyes met across the rooftops. Cale jumped from his position. He crashed through Sarah's window. Glass shattered everywhere. Sarah screamed. Cale grabbed her and covered her mouth with his hand. "Someone wants you dead," he said. "Stay quiet if you want to live." An explosion rocked the building. Fire burst through the walls. The other assassin had fired a rocket. The entire apartment began to collapse. Cale lifted Sarah over his shoulder and ran. They jumped from the burning building just as it exploded behind them. They hit the ground rolling. Cale pulled Sarah to her feet. "Run!" he shouted. 3 more assassins appeared from the shadows, all dressed in black, all armed with advanced weapons. They fired at Cale and Sarah. Bullets tore through the air. Cale returned fire with his plasma gun. He shot one assassin in the chest. The assassin fell. 2 more remained. Sarah ran beside Cale through the dark streets. Her heart pounded. Her legs burned. She had no idea what was happening. Who was this man? Why were people trying to kill her? They ran through alleys and side streets. Cale moved like a shadow. Fast, deadly, precise. He shot the second assassin through a wall, without even seeing him. The third assassin chased him onto a rooftop. Cale turned and fought. Hand-to-hand combat. Fast punches. Brutal kicks. The assassin was good. Very good. But Cale was better. He broke the assassin's arm. Then his leg, then knocked him unconscious. The assassin fell from the rooftop into a dumpster below. Cale grabbed Sarah's hand. "Keep moving." They ran for another 20 minutes until they reached an abandoned warehouse near the docks. Cale pushed Sarah inside and locked the door. Sarah collapsed against the wall. She was shaking. Tears ran down her face. "Are you going to kill me too?" she whispered. Cale looked at her. His red eyes glowed in the darkness. "If I wanted you dead, you would already be dead." Sarah wiped her tears. "Then who are you? Why are you helping me?" Cale sat down across from her. He was quiet for a long moment. "My name is Cale. I am an assassin. I was hired to kill you, but when you smiled at me, I could not do it. I do not know why." Sarah stared at him. Then she laughed. A nervous, scared laugh. That is the worst reason to save someone. Cale almost smiled. Almost. Maybe, but it is the truth. Sarah took a deep breath. "Why does someone want me dead? I have not done anything wrong. I just serve coffee." Cale pulled out his communicator. He contacted his sources in the criminal underworld, information dealers, hackers, smugglers, people who knew secrets. After 10 minutes, he had his answer. His face went dark. 6 months ago, did you see anything unusual? Anything strange? Sarah thought hard. "I saw a man get kidnapped outside my shop. 3 men in suits grabbed him and threw him into a black car. I told the police, but they said there was no record of it." Cale nodded. That man worked for the Crimson Syndicate, the most powerful crime organization in this sector. They think you can identify them. They want you dead before you testify. Sarah's face went pale, but I cannot identify them. I only saw it for 2 seconds. I do not even remember their faces. They do not know that, Cale said. To them you are a threat, and they eliminate all threats. Sarah started to cry again. So what do? I cannot fight them. I am just a waitress. Cale stood up. He walked to the window and looked out at the city. His communicator buzzed. A new message appeared on the screen. His face turned cold. He read it 3 times. Then he turned to Sarah. We have a bigger problem, he said quietly. What problem? Sarah asked. Cale showed her the message. Her hands shook as she read it. The message said, kill Sarachin in 24 hours or we destroy Earth. Every human will die. You have 1 day to decide. Complete the contract or watch your target's entire species burn. Sarah looked up at Cale. What are you going to do? Cale's jaw tightened. He had killed 500 people without hesitation, but now he had to choose. 1 life or 7 billion lives. 1 girl or an entire planet. The most feared assassin in the galaxy faced an impossible choice. And he only 24 hours. That was all the time Cale had left. He sat in the dark warehouse watching Sarah sleep in the corner. She looked peaceful, innocent. She had no idea that her life was now connected to the fate of 7 billion people. Cale looked at his weapon. His hand moved toward it, then stopped. He could not do it. Not yet. Not while she was sleeping. Morning came. Sarah woke up and saw Cale staring at her. His red eyes looked tired, sad, broken. You did not sleep? She asked. I do not need sleep, Cale lied. Sarah stood up and walked over to him. She sat down beside him. You look terrible. Even assassins need rest. Cale turned away. Sarah, I need to tell you something. What is it? Cale showed her the message. Sarah read it slowly. Her face went pale. Her hands started shaking. She read it again and again. Then she looked at Cale. So, if you do not kill me, Earth dies. Everyone dies. My friends, my neighbors, that old man at the cafe, the children, everyone. Yes, Cale said quietly. Sarah was silent for a long time. Then she took a deep breath. Then you should do it. Cale looked at her shocked. What? You should kill me, Sarah said calmly. 1 life for 7 billion lives. That is an easy choice. I am not worth more than an entire planet. Cale stood up angry. Do not say that. Why not? It is the truth. Sarah's eyes filled with tears, but her voice stayed strong. I have lived a good life. 23 years. I have laughed. I have loved. I have seen sunrises and tasted chocolate cake. That is more than many people get. If my death saves everyone else, then it is worth it. Cale turned away from her. His fists clenched. You do not understand. I have killed 500 people. Old people. Young people. Good people. Bad people. I never cared. I never felt anything. But you are different. When you smiled at me, something woke up inside me. Something I thought was dead forever. Sarah stood up and walked to him. She put her hand on his shoulder. Then let me give you one last gift before I go. What gift? Cale asked. Sarah smiled. Let us have a drink together. One last drink. Like friends. I have never had a real friend before. And I think you have not either. Cale looked at her. This brave, foolish human girl. She was about to die, and she wanted to have a drink. He almost laughed. Almost cried. He did not know which. Where do we go? He asked. I know a place, Sarah said. They left the warehouse carefully. Cale checked every corner, every shadow, every rooftop. They moved through the back streets of the city. After 30 minutes, they reached a small hidden bar called The Last Stop. It was underground, dark, quiet, perfect. They sat in the corner booth. Sarah ordered 2 glasses of whiskey. The bartender did not ask questions. He just poured the drinks and walked away. Sarah raised her glass. To new friends, she said. Cale raised his glass. To new friends. They drank. The whiskey burned Cale's throat. It had been years since he tasted alcohol. Years since he did anything normal. Sarah ordered another round. Then another. They started talking. Really talking. Sarah told him about her childhood. About being an orphan. About working 3 jobs to save money for medical school. About her dream of helping people. About her loneliness. About feeding stray cats because they were alone like her. About reading books every night to escape her boring life. Cale told her about his planet. About the war that destroyed everything. About watching his family burn. About being 10 years old and alone in the galaxy. About learning to kill to survive. About becoming a weapon. About forgetting what it felt like to be alive. "You are not a weapon," Sarah said softly. "Weapons do not save people. You save me. That makes you something more." Cale looked down at his drink. "I saved you because I am weak. A real assassin would have completed the mission." "No," Sarah said. "You saved me because you are strong. It takes no strength to kill, but it takes real strength to choose mercy, to choose kindness, to choose hope." Cale looked at her, this strange, brave girl. She was teaching him things he never knew, things he never thought about. For the first time in 15 years, he felt something warm in his chest, something that was not pain or anger or emptiness. Hours passed. The whiskey bottle became empty, then another bottle. They laughed. They shared stories. They became friends. Real friends. Sarah's head slowly dropped onto Cale's shoulder. She fell asleep. Her breathing was soft and peaceful. Cale looked at his watch. 6 hours left. He looked at Sarah sleeping on his shoulder. He looked at his gun on the table. His hand reached for it. His fingers wrapped around the cold metal. He lifted it slowly. He pointed it at Sarah's head. His finger touched the trigger. 1 pull. 1 second. Earth would be saved. 7 billion people would live. And he would go back to being the shadow of Andromeda. The most feared assassin in the galaxy. Alone. Empty. Dead inside. His hand shook. Sweat ran down his face. He closed his eyes. He started to squeeze the trigger. "I knew you would fail." Cale's eyes shot open. A figure stepped out from the shadows. Tall, powerful, covered in scars. Victor, his old mentor. The man who trained him. The man who made him into a killer. Victor smiled. "Hello, Cale. It has been a long time." Cale lowered his gun. He stood up slowly. Sarah was still asleep. "What are you doing here, Victor?" "I am here to finish what you could not," Victor said. He pulled out a small device. A detonator. "This is connected to 50 nuclear bombs hidden across Earth. If you will not kill the girl, then I will kill everyone. I gave you everything, Cale. I made you strong. I made you feared. And this is how you repay me? By becoming soft? By caring about a human?" Cale stepped in front of Sarah. "She is innocent." Victor laughed. "No one is innocent. I taught you that. Everyone deserves to die. That is the truth of this universe." "You are wrong," Cale said. "She showed me something you never could. She showed me that there is more to life than death, more to existence than killing. She gave me a reason to live." Victor's smile faded. His eyes turned cold. "Then you both will die together." Victor's finger moved toward the detonator button. Cale had 1 second to act. 1 second to save Sarah. 1 second to save Earth. He had 1 bullet left in his gun. 2 targets. Victor and the detonator. He could only shoot one. Time seemed to freeze. Cale's mind raced. If he shot Victor, then Victor would press the button before he died. If he shot the detonator, then Victor would kill them both. There was no way to win. No way to save everyone. Unless Cale made his choice. He aimed his gun and fired. The bullet flew through the air. Cale had made his choice. He aimed at the detonator in Victor's hand. The bullet hit the device perfectly. The detonator exploded in a burst of sparks and flames. Victor screamed in pain. His hand burned. The device was destroyed. Earth was saved. For now. But Victor was not finished. He pulled out his plasma blade. His eyes filled with rage. "You fool. You just signed your death warrant." Victor lunged forward. Fast. Deadly. His blade cut through the air. Cale dodged and rolled. He fired his gun. Victor deflected the bullets with his blade. They were moving too fast for normal eyes to see. The bar exploded around them. Tables shattered. Glasses broke. The bartender ran away screaming. Sarah woke up from the noise. She saw the fight. Two monsters battling in the darkness. Cale was strong, but Victor was stronger. Victor had 20 more years of experience. He was faster, more brutal, more ruthless. Victor's blade cut Cale's arm. Blood sprayed. Cale fell back. Victor kicked him in the chest. Cale crashed through a table. He tried to stand, but Victor stomped on his leg. Bones cracked. Cale screamed in pain. "You were my greatest student," Victor said. "I made you into a legend, and you threw it all away for a human girl. Pathetic." Victor raised his blade, ready to end it, ready to kill Cale. Sarah saw what was about to happen. She looked around desperately. She grabbed a metal pipe from the broken wall. She ran forward and swung it at Victor's head with all her strength. The pipe hit Victor's skull with a loud crack. Victor stumbled. He turned around slowly. Blood ran down his face. He looked at Sarah. Then he smiled. A terrible smile. Brave but stupid girl. Victor grabbed Sarah by the throat. He lifted her off the ground. She could not breathe. Her legs kicked in the air. Her face turned red. Cale tried to stand, but his leg was broken. He could barely move. "Watch her die, Cale," Victor said. "Watch what happens when you choose weakness." Sarah's vision started to fade. Black spots appeared in her eyes. She was dying. She looked at Cale one last time. She tried to smile. Even now, even dying, she tried to smile. Something inside Cale exploded. Not anger, not rage. Something stronger. Something he had never felt before. Love. He loved this girl. This brave, foolish, kind girl who taught him how to be human again. Cale screamed. He forced himself to stand on his broken leg. Pain shot through his body, but he did not care. He pulled out a small knife from his boot. He threw it with perfect accuracy. The knife flew through the air and stabbed into Victor's arm. The arm holding Sarah. Victor dropped Sarah. She fell to the ground, gasping for air. Victor pulled the knife out. He looked at Cale with respect. "You still have some fight left." "Good. I would hate for this to be easy." They charged at each other. Cale had no weapons left, just his fists, just his will to protect Sarah. They fought hand to hand, punch after punch, kick after kick. Blood and sweat mixed together. Both fighters were wounded. Both were exhausted. But neither would stop. Victor landed a heavy punch to Cale's face. Cale's nose broke. Blood poured out. But Cale did not fall. He grabbed Victor's arm and twisted it. Victor's shoulder dislocated. Victor headbutted Cale. Cale's vision blurred. But he did not let go. "Why do you fight so hard for her?" Victor screamed. "She is nothing. Just another target." Cale looked at Sarah. She was watching him. Her eyes full of tears. Full of hope. Full of belief. "She is everything you never understood, Victor. She is kindness. She is hope. She is proof that we can be more than killers." Victor laughed. "Then die with your hope." Victor pulled out a hidden gun from his belt. He aimed it at Cale's heart. Point blank range. No way to dodge. No way to survive. Cale closed his eyes. At least Sarah was safe. At least he saved her. That was enough. The gun fired. But the bullet never hit Cale. Sarah had jumped in front of him. The bullet hit her chest. She fell backward into Cale's arms. Blood spread across her shirt. Her eyes went wide with shock. "No!" Cale screamed. Time stopped. The whole world stopped. Cale held Sarah in his arms. Her blood covered his hands. She looked up at him. She smiled. That same bright, beautiful smile. "I told you," she whispered. "You are not a monster. Sarah, please. Stay with me. Do not die. Please." Sarah's hand touched his face. "Thank you for being my friend, Cale. Even if it was just for one day." Her hand fell. Her eyes closed. Her breathing stopped. Sarah Chin was dead. The girl who smiled at a killer. The girl who taught him how to live. The girl who saved his soul. Gone. Kale looked up at Victor. His red eyes glowed with something new. Not rage. Not hate. Pure determination. He gently laid Sarah's body down. He stood up. His broken leg did not matter anymore. His wounds did not matter anymore. Nothing mattered except making Victor pay. You made a mistake, Victor, Kale said quietly. What mistake? Victor asked. You showed me what I was fighting for. Kale moved faster than he had ever moved before. Victor fired his gun. Kale dodged every bullet. He closed the distance in 1 second. He grabbed Victor's gun hand and crushed it. Bones broke. Victor screamed. Kale punched Victor in the throat, then the chest, then the stomach, over and over, each punch harder than the last. Victor fell to his knees. Blood poured from his mouth. He looked up at Kale. Do it. Kill me. Prove you are still the shadow of Andromeda. Kale raised his fist, ready to end it, ready to kill his mentor. But then he stopped. He lowered his fist. No. Sarah taught me something. Death is easy. Living with your failure is harder. You will live, Victor. You will live knowing you lost. You will live knowing that love beat hate, that hope beat despair, that one kind girl defeated the greatest assassin in the galaxy. Kale turned and walked back to Sarah's body. He lifted her gently in his arms. Victor tried to stand, but his body was broken. He could only watch as Kale carried Sarah away. Kale walked out of the bar into the morning light. The sun was rising. A new day was beginning. But for Kale, the world had ended. Kale carried Sarah's body through the empty streets. The sun was rising, but he did not see it. People walked past, but he did not notice them. His world had become small. Just him and the dead girl in his arms. The girl who changed everything. The girl who was gone. He reached his ship in the forest. He laid Sarah gently on the medical bed. Her face was pale. Her lips were blue. No heartbeat. No breathing. No life. Kale sat beside her. He held her cold hand. For the first time in 15 years, tears ran down his face. I am sorry, he whispered. I failed you. I should have been faster. I should have protected you better. You saved me and I could not save you. He sat there for hours. Not moving. Not thinking. Just existing in his pain. His communicator buzzed. Messages came in. New contracts. New targets. New missions. He ignored them all. What was the point? Money meant nothing. Fame meant nothing. Without Sarah, the galaxy felt empty again. Then something strange happened. Kale's medical scanner started beeping. He looked at the screen. It showed Sarah's body. The scanner detected something. A faint signal. Very weak. Almost impossible to detect. But it was there. Her heart. It was still beating. 1 beat per minute. So slow the scanner almost missed it. Sarah was not dead. She was dying. But not dead yet. Kale jumped up. His hands moved fast. He activated the ship's advanced medical system. Technology far beyond anything on Earth. Alien healing chambers. Nanobots. Regeneration fields. He had stolen this equipment years ago from a military base. He never thought he would use it. He placed Sarah inside the healing chamber. Blue light surrounded her body. The nanobots entered her bloodstream. They found the bullet wound. They started repairing the damage. Cell by cell. Tissue by tissue. The chamber worked for 6 hours straight. Kale watched through the glass. His hands pressed against it. Please work. Please save her. I will give anything. Do anything. Just let her live. The chamber's light turned from blue to green. The process was complete. The glass door opened. Steam poured out. Kale rushed forward. He checked Sarah's pulse. Strong. Steady. Normal. He checked her breathing. Deep. Regular. Alive. Sarah's eyes slowly opened. She looked around confused. She saw Kale staring at her. His face was covered in tears. She smiled weakly. Did we win? She whispered. Kale laughed. A real laugh. Full of joy and relief. Yes. We won. You won. Sarah tried to sit up, but her body was weak. Kale helped her. She looked down at her chest. The bullet wound was gone. Completely healed. Just a small scar remained. What happened? I remember being shot. I remember dying. You did die, Cale said, but I brought you back. Alien technology. Your heart was still beating. Barely, but it was enough. Sarah touched her chest. She felt her heartbeat, strong and alive. So what happens now? Cale's face became serious. Victor escaped. He will tell everyone about us, about what I did. The entire criminal underworld will come after us. There's a 50 million credit bounty on both our heads. Every assassin, every bounty hunter, every mercenary in the galaxy will hunt us. Sarah nodded slowly. So we run. We run, Cale said. Or we hide. Or we fight. I do not know yet. But whatever we do it together. Sarah smiled. Together sounds good. 3 months passed. Cale and Sarah disappeared from Earth. They traveled to the outer rim of the galaxy, a place called New Haven Colony, a small mining planet where no one asked questions. They used fake names, fake identities. They opened a small bar called The Last Stop, the same name as the bar where they almost died. Every night, the bar filled with miners and traders and travelers. Cale served drinks. Sarah cooked food. They worked side by side. They laughed together. They lived together, not as assassin and target, not as hunter and prey, but as friends, true friends. But peace never lasts forever. Bounty hunters came regularly, sometimes 1, sometimes 3, sometimes 5. They all wanted the 50 million credits. They all failed. Cale defeated them all. Some he killed, some he just hurt, some he talked to, and they left peacefully. Sarah learned to fight during these months. Cale taught her hand-to-hand combat, weapons training, strategy. She was not as good as Cale, but she was good enough to survive, good enough to protect herself, good enough to protect him when needed. One night a young assassin entered the bar. He was barely 20 years old, thin, scared. His hands shook as he pointed his gun at Cale. I am here for the bounty, the young assassin said. His voice cracked. Cale looked at him calmly. Put the gun down, kid. I need the money. My sister is sick. The doctors say she will die without treatment. 50 million credits can save her. Sarah walked over slowly. She held 2 cups of coffee. She placed one in front of the young assassin. You look tired. Coffee helps when you are tired. The young assassin stared at her, confused. Why are you being nice to me? I am here to kill you. I know, Sarah said softly, but killing us will not save your sister. It will just make you a murderer. There are better ways. The assassin started to cry. He lowered his gun. I do not know what else to do. I am desperate. Cale stood up. He walked to the back room. He returned with a case. He opened it. Inside was money. A lot of money. This is 2 million credits. Take it. Save your sister. Then come back here if you want. We can always use help in the bar. The young assassin looked at the money, then at Cale, then at Sarah. Why? Why would you help me? Sarah smiled. Because someone once showed me that kindness is stronger than violence, that hope is stronger than hate. Now we are passing that lesson forward. The young assassin took the money. He wiped his tears. Thank you. I will never forget this. He left. He never came back to kill them. But 6 months later he returned. Not as an assassin, but as a worker. He helped run the bar. He became part of their family. More assassins came over time. Some fought. Some listened. Some stayed. The small bar slowly became a sanctuary. A place where killers learned to be human again. A place where broken people found family. A place where hope lived. Years passed. Sarah's hair grew longer. Cale's scars multiplied. But they were happy. Truly happy. One night they sat on the roof of the bar, looking at the stars. The bar below was full of laughter and music. Former assassins drinking together, sharing stories, living instead of killing. Do you ever regret saving me? Sarah asked. Cale was quiet for a moment. Then he said, every day. Sarah looked hurt. Really? Cale smiled. I regret not doing it sooner. Sarah laughed. She leaned her head on his shoulder. They watched the stars together. Two broken souls who found each other in the darkness, who taught each other how to live, who proved that even the deadliest assassin could change, that even the loneliest girl could find family. The galaxy still hunted them. Bounty hunters still came. Danger still followed them everywhere. But they did not run anymore. They did not hide anymore. They stood together, fought together, lived together, because they learned the most important lesson, the lesson that changed everything. Sometimes the deadliest weapon is not a gun or a blade or a bomb. Sometimes the deadliest weapon is kindness, and kindness can change the entire galaxy. 5 years had passed since that night, the night Sarah died and came back, the night Cale chose love over duty, the night everything changed. Their small bar on New Haven Colony had become something more than just a place to drink. It had become a home, a sanctuary, a second chance for those who thought they had no chances left. Cale stood behind the bar counter, cleaning glasses. His red alien eyes no longer looked cold and empty. They looked peaceful, almost human. Sarah walked out from the kitchen, carrying a tray of food. Her hair was tied back. She wore a simple blue dress. She looked older now, wiser, stronger, but her smile was still the same, bright and full of hope. "Table 7 needs their food," she said to Cale. Cale nodded. He took the tray and walked to table 7. 3 former assassins sat there. They were laughing about something, telling old war stories. But now those stories ended with lessons learned instead of body counts. Cale placed their food down. "Enjoy," he said simply. "Thanks, boss," one of them said. Cale walked back to the bar. "Boss." They called him boss now. Not killer, not monster, not shadow, just boss. It felt strange, but good. The bar was full tonight. 20 people. Some were former bounty hunters. Some were smugglers trying to go straight. Some were just travelers who heard about this strange place where killers became cooks and assassins became friends. The door opened. Cold wind blew in. A figure stood in the doorway. Tall, covered in a black cloak. Cale's hand moved toward the gun hidden under the counter. Old instincts never die. The figure stepped into the light. It was a woman, young, maybe 19 years old. Her eyes were hard, cold, dead. Cale recognized those eyes. He used to have the same eyes. She walked to the bar and sat down. She did not say anything, just stared at Cale. Sarah came over and smiled. "Welcome to the last stop. What can I get you?" The girl pulled out a small data pad. She slid it across the counter to Cale. On the screen was a bounty notice. Cale's face, Sarah's face. 50 million credits each. Wanted dead or alive. "I am here for the bounty," the girl said. Her voice was flat, emotionless. The entire bar went quiet. Everyone stopped eating, stopped drinking, stopped talking. They all looked at the girl, then at Cale, ready to fight if needed. But Cale raised his hand, a signal to stay calm. "What is your name?" Cale asked. "Maya," the girl said. "Why do you want the bounty, Maya?" "Because I need the money. Because killing is all I know. Because I have nothing else." Sarah poured a cup of coffee. She placed it in front of Maya. "You look sad. Coffee helps when you are sad." Maya stared at the coffee, then at Sarah. "You are the target. Why are you giving me coffee?" "Because you remind me of someone," Sarah said gently. "Someone who was lost. Someone who thought killing was the only way. Someone who learned there was a better path." Maya looked at Cale. "You are the shadow of Andromeda, the most feared assassin in the galaxy. You killed 500 people, and now you serve drinks in a bar. Why?" Cale sat down across from her. "Because I met someone who showed me that fear and death are not strength. Kindness is strength. Hope is strength. Love is strength." Maya's hand moved to her gun. "That sounds weak. Then why are your hands shaking?" Cale asked quietly. Maya looked down. Her hands were trembling. She had not even noticed. "I do not know." "You are shaking because part of you knows the truth," Sarah said. "Part of you is tired. Tired of killing. Tired of running. Tired of being alone." Maya's eyes filled with tears. She tried to stop them, but she could not. I've been alone my whole life. My parents sold me to a crime syndicate when I was 6 years old. They trained me to kill. It is all I know, all I am. Cale understood. He understood perfectly. I was 10 when my planet burned. I was alone too. I killed to survive. I killed to feel powerful. I killed because I did not know there was another way. But there is Maya. There is always another way. What way? Maya whispered. Sarah reached across and held Maya's hand. Stay here, just for one night. Have dinner with us. Talk with us. Sleep in a real bed. Then, tomorrow, if you still want to kill us, you can try. But give us one night. Give yourself one night to feel what it is like to not be alone. Maya looked at their faces. Cale's eyes were warm. Sarah's smile was genuine. No one had ever been kind to her. No one had ever cared if she was alone. She did not know what to say, so she just nodded. Sarah made dinner. Real food, hot soup, fresh bread, grilled meat. Maya ate slowly. She could not remember the last time she had a real meal. Cale and Sarah sat with her. They did not talk about killing or contracts or bounties. They talked about normal things. Books, music, planets they had visited, dreams they had. After dinner, Sarah showed Maya to a small room upstairs. This is yours for tonight. There are clean clothes in the closet. The bathroom is down the hall. Sleep as long as you want. Maya looked at the bed. Clean sheets. Soft pillows. A window with a view of the stars. Why are you doing this? I came here to kill you. Sarah smiled. Because 5 years ago I was about to die, and someone chose to save me instead. Now it is my turn to save someone else. Sarah left. Maya sat on the bed. It was the softest thing she had ever felt. She lay down. She closed her eyes. For the first time in 13 years, she felt safe. She fell asleep without her gun in her hand. The next morning, Maya woke up to the smell of coffee. She walked downstairs. Cale and Sarah were preparing the bar for the day. Sarah saw her and poured a cup of coffee. Good morning. How did you sleep? Good, Maya said quietly. Better than I have in years. Cale looked at her. So what now, Maya? Are you still here for the bounty? Maya looked at her gun, then at Cale and Sarah, then at the bar that felt more like home than any place she had ever been. She made her choice. She placed her gun on the counter. I do not want the bounty anymore, she said. I want what you have. Peace, purpose, family. Sarah hugged her. Maya did not know how to react. No one had ever hugged her before. But slowly she hugged back. She started crying. All the pain and loneliness from 13 years poured out. Welcome home, Maya. Cale said. Maya stayed. She worked in the bar. She learned to cook. She learned to laugh. She learned to live. More assassins came after her. Some were young like her. Some were old and tired. Some were broken and lost. Cale and Sarah gave them all the same choice. Fight or stay. Kill or live. Hate or hope. Most stayed. The bar grew larger. They added more rooms. More tables. More family. The bounty on Cale and Sarah never went away. But it did not matter anymore. They had something worth more than money. They had purpose. They had each other. One night, 10 years after everything began, Cale and Sarah sat on the roof. The bar below was full of voices and laughter. Maya was down there teaching a young boy how to cook. Former enemies drinking together. Former killers building something beautiful. We did it, Sarah said softly. Did what? Cale asked. We changed the galaxy. One person at a time. Cale smiled. He held Sarah's hand. No, you changed the galaxy. I just followed your lead. Sarah laughed. We did it together. They sat under the stars. Two souls who found each other in the darkness. Who proved that even the most broken people can heal. That even the deadliest assassin can choose kindness. That even one smile can change everything. The galaxy still remembered the shadow of Andromeda. The most feared assassin who ever lived. But now they also knew another story. The story of how that assassin met a girl who smiled, and how that smile saved not just one life, but hundreds of lives, maybe thousands, maybe one day the whole galaxy, because kindness spreads like fire, and hope is contagious, and love is the most powerful weapon in the universe.